Hello everyone, how are you doing? Hope you all are keeping safe. I am Doye Akbe and I'll be your instructor in the course of today's lecture. Our topic for today is presidential system of government. At the end of this study, students should be able to define presidential system of government, discuss the features or attributes or characteristics of presidential system of government, discuss the advantages or merits of presidential system of government, discuss the disadvantages or demerits of presidential system of government, discuss the duties and responsibilities, functions and constitutional powers of an executive president, and then finally discuss the limitations on the powers of an executive president. A presidential system of government may be defined as one in which all executive powers are vested in one person called the president, and in which the executive arm of government is separated from the legislature but equal to it. The presidential system is a form of government in which the president is the chief executive and is elected directly by the people. The president is both the head of state and is referred to as an executive president because he has executive powers. The president, who is elected by the electorate either directly or indirectly through an electoral college and not chosen by the legislature and not a member of the legislature, is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The president appoints members of his cabinet who are also not members of the parliament. Let us look at the features of a presidential system government. The president is both head of state and head of government. There is separation of power. The president exercises real executive powers. The president is elected by electorates. Constitution is the supreme law. Tenure of the office of the president is limited to a fixed term. The president is not above politics. There is application of the rule of law. Principles of checks and balances apply in the presidential system. The party system is loose and lacks discipline. Advantages or merits of presidential system. The following are the advantages of a presidential system. 1. Separation of power. One of the advantages of presidential system of government is the clear separation of power among the three organs of government, which prevents misuse of power. 2. Checks and balances. The application of the principles of check and balances in the presidential system makes government officials, including the president, cautious and meticulous in carrying out their functions, which makes government very efficient and orderly. 3. Fixed tenure office. The system fixes a limited period for the president to rule and give chance to others, and this prevents the emergence of a president for life. 4. Prevents emergence of dictators. The principle of separation of power and checks and balances makes it near impossible for dictators to emerge in a presidential system of government. 5. Effective executive control. 6. Absence of collective responsibility. 7. Absence of conflict. 8. Good policies are made. 9. The people are given the opportunity to vote. And then 10. It encourages democracy. Let us look at the disadvantages of a presidential system of government. Number 1. It may breed dictators. Over-concentration of power in the president can corrupt him and make him to be a dictator. 2. Absence of opposition party. This makes the president to rule according to his whims and caprices without any fear of opposition from a legally recognized opposition party. 3. Lobbying breeds widespread corruption. 4. It is expensive to run. 5. There is frequent friction. 6. It is difficult to control the president. 7. Arbitrary dismissal. What do I mean by that? Since the president has the right to dismiss any member of his cabinet, there is this likelihood that the president will use such power as an instrument of political vendetta and victimization. Duties and responsibilities, functions and constitutional powers of an executive president. The following are the duties of an executive president. An executive president is both the head of state and the head of government. The president is the commander-in-chief of armed forces. He appoints ministers and other members of his cabinet. He bestows or awards national honor to deserving citizens of the country. He receives the representative of other countries to his country. He assents to bills passed in the National Assembly. He appoints the Chief Justice of the Federation and Justices of the Supreme Court. The President sees to the enforcement of law and order in the country. Limitations on the powers of an executive president. 1. The Constitution limits his terms of office. 2. The President must present list of his appointed ministers, ambassadors, etc. to the National Assembly for approval. 3. The principles of checks and balances curtail the powers of the President. 4. Another party may control the legislature, thereby making it difficult for the President's bill to be passed. 5. The National Assembly has the constitutional power to impeach the President if he violated the Constitution or for any other corrupt act. Let us quickly summarize all that we've said. We earlier said the presidential system is a form of government in which the president is the chief executive and is elected directly by the people. In this system, all three branches, executive, legislative, and judiciary, are constitutionally independent of each other, and no branch can dismiss or dissolve any other. The president is both the head of government and the head of state, and he has executive power. The USA offers a very good example of a presidential system of government, and Nigeria tried the system from 1979, and we are still currently using the presidential system of government. I would like you to quickly take these revision questions. Explain the presidential system of government. Mention 5 attributes of the presidential system of government. List 10 advantages of the presidential system of government. List 5 disadvantages of the presidential system of government. Mention 5 functions of an executive president, and finally, mention 2 limitations on the powers of an executive president. With that, we've come to the end of this lecture. I would like you to look for the part 2 of this lecture, of this topic, where we talked about the parliamentary or cabinet system of government, and we'll also go further to distinguish between the presidential system of government and the parliamentary system of government. See you in the next class. Have a nice day.